It's Sunday. You know what that means. Welcome to a Fifth Jack game. It is Sunday, so that means it's Single Sundays. Single Sundays? Yeah, Single Sundays. There we go. We'll go with that. But I digress. I come right back over. We ended up having a nice little pickup. However, if you're new coming around to this is where we take what we ended up picking up on the poll, rating it, quickly covering over a quick synopsis as spoil-free as we can with the story that we end up picking up. Then, if we have any kind of back issues, we end up catching up before we read the next issue that we end up having. So, with that said, let's go over what we ended up picking up this week. Coming in at number 5 is Timeless Power, or Power Man Timeless. I like the prediction that comes over with it, because it's Luke Cage with the power of Century, and then it also has the Immortal Iron Fist. I was kind of loving the idea of that. However, I didn't really care for the story that came over with it, and I know it's a two-parter, but I don't really feel the excitement to be reading the second part. That's why it's ranked number 5 on the list this week. Coming at number 4 is Moon Knight, Fist of Kanzu. I keep on saying it multiple different ways, but this for overall is a meh book for me as well. Honestly speaking, this week was very, very meh for me. There's a couple of things that's okay, but if there was a week that I was going to end up skipping stuff, that probably would be this week. But this ended up having some development, and there's a big fight that keeps on going on into it. And yes, I'm going to be sticking with it because it's Jeb McKay on Moon Knight. But this week I wasn't feeling it. Coming at number 3 is Eddie Brock Carnage, number 1. So it has an interesting mixture. This has Eddie Brock having the Carnage symbiote. And if we all know Carnage, he is the master of mayhem and chaos, and also wanting to kill people, right? And then Eddie Brock obviously is trying to be a savior, trying to do good things and stuff like that. Well, you end up getting the mix, and you end up trying to figure out what's going to happen with that mixture. If you're kind of curious, this would be the book to be starting off with. It does have an interesting scenes that goes over with it, where they end up finding a killer, and then some event fallout comes out of that. And let's say the person that takes the wheel isn't who we end up expecting. But if that has you interested, this would be the issue for you. Coming in at number 2 is Absolute Batman. Issue number 5. So this is more of a setup that's going over with it, and not setup, but it's actually giving you more background, letting you get more knowledge of Batman and what ended up happening and what's working its way with it. So I like the story that it's setting up, and I have a feeling that something's going to end up popping off, and it's going to be some kind of funness that's going to be going on. So that's why it's number 2 for this week. Coming in at number 1, the book that we ended up having the best of for this week and having the most fun with is going to be number 1, One World Under Doom. That's right, Doom took the top spot this week, and it's interesting because Dr. Doom is now also the Sorcerer Supreme through some shenanigans that they ended up having with the Blood Hunt event. And honestly, this has a little bit of action that comes over with it, and it has a surprise Doom variant that you wouldn't be expecting. It is gigantic, the variant. I'm not saying who it ends up being, but that's definitely something that was worth the read. And honestly, this is something that I want to add to the poll just to keep up, because Doom is one of my favorite villains, and it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen when he takes over the entire world. So, One World Under Doom, nice solid pickup, and possibly an ad that's going to be to our poll list. So, a snap review. Number 1, Doom, One World Under Doom, number 1. Number 2, Absolute Batman, issue number 5. Number 3, Eddie Brock, Carnage, number 1. Number 4, Moon Knight, Fist of Kanzu, number 5. And finally, but not least, Power Man Timeless, issue number 1. That's our top 5 books that we ended up picking up this week. What was something that you ended up reading? It doesn't have to be an omnibus, it doesn't have to be a single issue. Just let us know what you ended up reading and how, if you ended up liking it. Put it down in the comments down below. If you're liking the content we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified whenever we come out with new content. Thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.